Hello everyone, I'm Leonardo G, and once in a while I play a full-fledged game just for fun. And if I like it enough, I make a review. This is one of such cases. Thanks to PlayStation Days of Play, Horizon Zero Dawn became available for free to everyone, and I just could not pass the opportunity to play this game. Plus, with upcoming Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, I just had to know everything about this before it dropped. Horizon Zero Dawn follows the life and adventure of Aloy, a strong-willed girl with a mysterious past that we will uncover to impact her future and the future of the entire world. The world is a post-apocalyptic machine Greenland where humans survive in tribal settlements. The entire tribal settlements are very well made. The ethnic diversity is a nice change, and I love that all the Native American look and everything. An aesthetic I don't think we see often and even less well made. Now, I'll be talking about the setup, and I'm just letting you know there will be minor spoilers here. Not story spoilers about what happens with the characters, but the setup has a lot of things that I didn't really enjoy, so I'm going to talk about it. The idea is that there was a problem in the past, and the solution they found, well, truthfully, it didn't solve anything, and the problem persisted until now. The other thing is that between that and now, 350,000 years pass. Now, to give you an idea of how this is a problem for me, Homo sapiens is around 20,000 years old, and our civilization started around 5,000 years ago. So, how come in the game humans look exactly the same? I mean, they didn't evolve, and civilization is still in a tribal state. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Furthermore, the machines we see roaming around are a part of a terraforming mechanism and were all, in fact, all designed by AI. So how come the AI just designed everything old Earth animals? You know, there's this couple of dinosaurs on the side, but they're basically all just animals. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But we can put our suspense of disbelief on, put our suspense of belief caps on, and still enjoy the entire story. So let's start with that, the story. I gotta say, I wasn't that surprised with everything that unfolded, but that's because I already saw so much sci-fi movies with this theme of man-machine that it's hard for me to be surprised. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, because I did. Aloy is a lot more stoic than I am, really because I tend to select more empathic responses to NPCs and quests, and she still felt very conflicted to me. And I say to me because I grew up with JRPGs where the more I work for the benefit of everyone and I don't want to step on toes is more the way to go. You're a lot more innocent, a lot more friendly and pacifist, but not Aloy. She doesn't fear anyone. Aloy is an orphan raised by an outcast that tries to fit in the tribe. However, this plot quickly gets a backseat to saving the world. But once you know what to do, the game just keeps throwing you all over the map to deviate you from your main road. A lab may be in one place, and energy supports that lab is in another. Then the AI that controls the lab and the energy is in another part of the map. So you will have lots of back and forth, which I don't mind because I like exploring, but it didn't seem a lot of logic to me, except maybe to expand our gameplay. And speaking of gameplay, like I said, tons and tons of exploration, both in open worlds and in ancient ruins, and here is where you find the rarest items, so it's well worth the time. You get bows and slingshots to fight machines and enemies. These do different types of damage and elemental damage, and you can upgrade them with mods. But remember, you cannot change the mods and the weapons at first. You need to unlock this ability further ahead. You also need to craft ammo for these, either with your HUD or in the menu, so be careful how much you have, or if you have enough, before engaging with enemies. Vendors will sell you new weapons and clothes and armor, but I would advise to save your shards to get the best armors and weapons late in the game, instead of just trying to get everything early on. One interesting thing is that you can hack some machines and ride them, which is a great help in traversing large portions of land instead of just running around. Now, not all machines can be hacked at first, and not all can be written, but you can use some of them to fight for you, adding a new layer to the combat. That said, combat. Oh boy. I mean, it works and it isn't terrible, it's just extremely complicated. Right from the beginning, the aggro of this game would overwhelm and create havoc all the time. A typical combat engaging an enemy, machine or not, will alert nearby machines that will either attack you or flee. If they flee, it's actually worse because they can alert other machines that are nearby, sometimes more powerful ones, and they all drop on you. Even if you try using traps, the explosions will be heard by others and the same thing will happen. You can spend 2 to 5 to maybe 10 minutes laying your traps and getting everything ready for one thing to go wrong and everything just falling apart. During my entire gameplay, laying traps worked once and only once exactly like I wanted. There's also a greater variety of machines coming at you in one go. Enemy variety is cool, I like that, but having too much weapons with their own weak points and their own weakness and their own differentiation one from the other, particularly so early in the game, just creates a lot of confusion. Also, the rotating circle to select different weapons and ammunitions is not OP, especially in the heat of combat. I cannot tell you the amount of times I was selecting the wrong one, just because when you do it with a joystick, sometimes when you release the joystick, it flickers to a different position, and so you have to select the weapon and the ammunition again. So yeah, it was very complicated. So I ended up using my spear 80% of the time just because it was faster and easier to get kills with it. Another thing I did was just run to the edge of the machine's, range of engagement and shoot them from afar. I mean, it doesn't work every time because some of them have range attacks, but at least I could see where the attacks were coming from, since this game does not offer a minimap or radar. Now, it does get better further ahead, particularly because you get more comfortable and knowledgeable about the machines you are fighting, but mostly because the bigger machines tend to fight you without any aggro, so it makes it a lot easier and much better combat. That said, it was not uncommon for me to spend like 10 and 20 minutes just fighting machines over and over again. I'll be honest, halfway through the game I just had enough, and because I was playing just to know the story, I lowered the difficulty to easy, not to story will be even lower, and I played with easy until I finished the game. Now, overall, and despite these bumps on the road, I did enjoy the game immensely. The character arc, the universe, the lore, everything was a lot of fun. Halo is witty and strong, the universe is amazing to explore and to look at. Taking down Big Machine does give you that monster hunter feeling, which I think was the idea, but that is a system that had years of balancing and rebalancing, while this was just in the game to have, action. And all through my play, I felt I was reading a good book. Just me, the screen, and unraveling a plot. I played about 50 hours of the game and only completed about 50% of the original game and 60% of the expansion Frozen Wilds. And I highly recommend everyone to play it, especially now that the sequel Forbidden West is coming. And speaking of Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, let me just leave here a few suggestions that could improve the game for this new installment. Number 1. Add a minimap/radar. The most valuable thing is seeing where we are going without having to open the map every 10 seconds, and most importantly, extremely important for combat, to determine where our enemies are and where they are attacking from. Even if you have to mark them first, as long as they are marked and on the minimap, you should be able to digest combat a lot better.
Hitting that thing really hurt it.
Number 2. Show the enemy weakness and weak points every time once they are marked. They should have a different color so we know that, for instance, the back is vulnerable to fire, the legs is vulnerable to ice, so the back would be red and the legs will be, blue, that sort of thing. And they should not disappear after a few seconds. They should remain as long as the target is marked. Much easier than having to open the menu, search the enemy data every time I face a different machine, and this happens a lot. There's like 3 or 5 different machines, so once I switch to fighting one to the other, I had to open the menu, look, okay, what are the weak points, what they are vulnerable against, and so on and so on. And having to do this many times over combat is just, it breaks the rhythm of combat a lot. 3. allow us to pick up stuff on the go. Now, many reviews have touched on this, and it is a real nuisance having Aloy stop every time she picks something, either on foot or while riding, because the animation of picking up stuff triggers, and if you're running or if you're riding, it just stops the progression of the game a lot, and that's not good. That's it, guys. I've finished the review. I hope you enjoyed it. This late review, because the game came out years ago. I just want to thank PlayStation for allowing me to play this awesome game for free thanks to Days of Play. Now, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a great game, guys.